if you're looking for something a bit more good, I suppose you could say, and a bit more meat on the bones, I watched The Last Duel, which is a film that came out earlier this year in cinemas. It was around the time of like Eternals, I think. Or was it earlier than that?
I think it was earlier. I think it came out the same weekend as Halloween Kills.
Okay, yeah. So it would have been around mid-October time.
Mid-October.
It bombed at the box office completely, and Ridley Scott went on a bit of a rant about how kids are too involved in their phones to understand good storytelling. Come on now, Ridley. Come on now, man.
Which he probably had to use a phone
to type that
in order to present that message.
Well, Ridley, I think you should just calm down and continue making films, because this film was really good.
Before we move on, what's the Simpsons joke about old man yells at cloud?
Old man yells at cloud.
That's
in
the
paper.
Ridley Scott. Yeah,
that is Ridley Scott.
Yeah.
I heard someone talk about comparing Ridley Scott, saying that there are two Ridley Scotts. Mm-hmm. There is a Ridley Scott who directs stuff like Alien and Gladiator and The Last Duel, and then you have stuff like House of Gucci or Alien Covenant that Ridley Scott also directs. Mm-hmm. It just isn't good and seems to lose every sense of direction it's possibly trying to do. This film, The Last Duel, is night and day compared to what House of Gucci presented.
Yeah.
House of Gucci was an edited mess that was just so weird and over the top and out of place, and everything seemed wrong. The Last Duel is just doing things perfectly. Mm-hmm. It stars Adam Driver and it stars Matt Damon. It's set in the 14th century during the medieval times. So you're with knights and all that stuff, and kings and lords and miladies, and it's set very well within its time. It's a very good time period piece. The costumes are very good. The set design is very good. The soundtrack is very lute, very
very lute.
Well, the lute.
Yeah, the lute. Yeah,
the instrument.
I just love the idea that something is very lute.
Well, it's medieval. It fits with it.
Yeah.
It also stars Harriet Walter as well as Ben Affleck in a pretty surprising role, who's really good at playing someone you're not supposed to like. Mm-hmm. He does a good job with it. The film is very good. It gets very good as it goes on. Within the first 20 minutes, I was rocky on it because I thought it was going too quick. However, 40 minutes in, you realize why, and it begins to pace itself well, a bit better. The final hour really hits well. You can kind of see where it's going once you kind of get halfway through the second act. Once you hit the third act, the film just completely rolls off the tongue. It's gorgeous looking. It's very grey, but there are pops of colour whenever there's indoor scenes. All the costume design is fantastic. Everybody's basically on point. Adam Driver is great as always. Matt Damon is pretty good as well. The standout here, Jodie Comer, she does fantastic. Genuinely fantastic. I would even argue, even in nomination territory, that good. She is a standout. She's worth watching it for. The characterization of her character is very good and is a good conversation piece on gender, on sexual assault crimes, especially how they used to be treated, and it does good. It does a lot of really good things. It's brutal, doesn't hold back. It's quite gory in places, and it's good. It's just a very good film and does a lot of really good things. It's not great, it's not perfect, of course, but it is still really worth watching, and was a bit of a sleeper hit for this year as well.
Yeah. I think the fact that Ridley Scott came out and said those things gave it more of a presence within.
I think it did.
And honestly, in a sense, maybe good on Ridley Scott for getting it back out there.
I'd say so. I mean, he was pooping all over Marvel films, which me and you are always supporting.
Yeah, exactly. Give us more. Hopefully, Steven Spielberg comes out next.
Oh my, that would be that would defeat them, because not only we've had Scorsese, we've had Denis Villeneuve, and we've now had Ridley Scott. If Spielberg were to come out and say something negative against Marvel films, everything would be cancelled. They'd wipe the floor clean and just give all the money to 20th Century Pictures.
Or we'd wish.
We'd wish, because, oh my God, the films they're pumping out are something else, and we'll get to that later when we talk about West Side Story.
Yeah.